All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here with Lekhana Satish. I think I got that close to correct. Maybe you should say it so that everybody has a grasp on it.
Yeah, it is
Okay,
Lekhana. It's fine.
like that. Oh, awesome. So I'm excited about this talk. It's awesome in its magnitude. The title is "What I Learned from Mentoring Over 250 Data Professionals in a Year." I can't even imagine doing that in a lifetime, let alone a year. So that's quite amazing. Lekhana is a senior data governance analyst at ServiceLink and a co-founder of Storytelling by Data. Storytelling by Data. She's located in Allen, Texas. Formerly a data analyst at Blastpoint, and quite an impressive educational resume. Master's in data analytics from Harrisburg University of Science and Tech, and an MBA in Indiana University of Pennsylvania. I don't know how you did it, but I'm really excited to hear more about how you've helped all these folks along the way. So without any more fluff from my part, I'll let you take the stage, and best of luck on the talk.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that great introduction. All right, so let me tell you all a story. I think pretty much most of the speakers here uh, came from a very non-technical, non-traditional backgrounds into data, and that's one of the amazing things about data, right? You can be in a different sector, but you can still learn data analytics. So similar to that, I did come from a completely non-technical background, no coding background until I actually went on to do my master's in data analytics. So this talk today is all about how I went on to mentor over 250 professionals in the last 1 year. So a little bit about me, as already in the introduction is done. Last year, August, I started a channel on Instagram to share my learnings as a data analyst. And I put out this reel, and I still remember I got about like over 60 comments asking, like, how do I start data analytics? What are the technical skills that I should learn? What are some of the things that I need to consider if I'm moving from a non-technical background into a data role? So I was like, that kept me like, like probably I was like so excited that so many people were asking me these questions that just went on to, answer all those questions in the form of reels on Instagram. And that's how Storytelling by Data was founded. So with that experience, like gave me this new mentoring role, where I started mentoring many professionals from healthcare, mechanical background, civil background, different like various different backgrounds into data. So, and one of the fun fact about me is I love reading books and visiting dog parks. I adopted a pet beagle last year, so dog parks is another place to find me. So, why this is the most common questions people ask me, like, why did you become a mentor? So here's another story that got me to that closer to the why I do mentoring. When I was transitioning to data analytics, I I was like super frustrated. It's like, how do I start off my journey? I knew I wanted to become an analyst, because I was very interested in social media analytics. I was volunteering for a nonprofit back then, and I was like, they got me on for volunteering for their social media websites, and I used to do a little bit of social media analytics for them. So that's when I realized that, you know what, I probably like analytics. So I was like trying to, get my hands on to all the books, all the YouTube channels. This was like 5 years ago, when I was trying to transition. And there's not much of risky resources available out there. So that's when I was like, I'll just enroll myself in a master's degree. So I was really lucky when I enrolled in the master's degree. 8 months into the program, I was really lucky to get a volunteering job for as a data science analyst at a startup. And during that time at the startup, I worked for them for over a year, and the CEO was mentoring me. And that mentoring versus my master's degree what changed my entire life completely as a data analyst. The actual real world experience taught me so much more, and especially the CEO mentoring me, it was a game changer. And this was when I saw the firsthand impact of what mentorship can do for one person. So this is where it all started, my mentorship journey, and just giving back to what where I learned from was how it all started. So of course mentorship is great, but it is a lot of, it's very time consuming. So if you are on a mentoring end, if you're a professional planning to mentor, these are some of the lessons that I have learned. Mentoring, obviously, a lot of professionals, this mentoring is done through either courses or one-on-one mentoring, and it understanding why why you want to mentor. Especially mentorship is something that can mentally, like, it's very taxing. You need to be completely present, you need to be able to identify and ask the right questions. So understanding why you really want to mentor
is really important, because mentorship is a two-way street, and you need to identify especially the mentor and the mentee vibes should match. And also it's like you're giving your 100% to this person. And one of the things that I actually learned a little bit later was setting boundaries. I was so like into like helping people get into data and analytics that I remember being like booked out completely, like Monday to Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. And these were like the days when I was like, I think probably now it's high time that, I start setting those boundaries just so I can keep my sanity, because it's a lot. It's each session of mentorship takes time, and you need to ask the right questions from the mentees. And also, most importantly, for a mentor, being engaged in conversation, asking the right questions, because each person's journey into data is so different. And in order for you to ask the right questions, you need to be super engaged and understand where that person is coming from. And then one of the other things is that being able to develop these goals and timelines, and it's not only for the mentor to keep track of where the mentee is at, it's super important for the mentee, to keep the mentor updated with all the goals and the timelines. And in order for you to grow as a mentor, feedback is really important. And that is something that I learned probably after trial and error, after a couple of months of mentoring professionals. And so far, mentoring so many people, I've seen some of the common pitfalls in the data industry today. One of the most important thing is what I've noticed is there is lack of clarity in the data roles. I've seen people getting hired as a data scientist but having to do more data analyst sort of roles, and some data scientists who are actually doing data science jobs. And there was even some professionals who are just doing excel work as a data analyst. So there is such a lack of standardization in the data industry, and this is where actually like real world professionals would help. And there are many professionals who kind of jump into data science without any research or mentorship. This is one thing that there were some professionals who were actually just got into data science, and they've paid and taken these courses, And half the way through it, you realize that data science is not for you. So that is another common misconception, that everyone can do data science. No, data science is not for everyone. And of course, jumping onto trends, data science is the sexiest job of the 21st century. So that's why I want to do it. So that is another thing that all the data professionals are like doing it. And another thing that I noticed is also, not all data roles need programming. This is something that everyone talk about. All the data roles, I'm going to learn Python programming. Why do you want to learn Python? Because I want to become a data scientist. Without prior programming knowledge, and there are plenty of data roles which do not need any programming. So these are some of the common misconceptions and pitfalls that I have seen. So helping these professionals, what I've seen for a data analyst role and a data scientist role is, there were many professionals that whom I've mentored who have actually gotten jobs as a data analyst and data scientist. And these are the common traits that I have noticed. For a data analyst, it is mostly understanding the data really well. And how does that happen? That happens with understanding the business side of things. If you understand an industry really well, for example, if you are understand the marketing industry really well, then if you add on a great, a SQL programming skill, that itself, the combination of the industry knowledge and the SQL skills, will make you a great data analyst. And also, of course, for a data analyst, you need to be able to communicate what the data is telling. For a data scientist, however, you are someone who is coming from a pure programming background. Say, for example, a software engineer coming from a programming background and adding those statistics and the mathematics skills, you can become a great data scientist. And also, going back to the fundamentals, understanding the fundamentals of from the first principles for statistics and mathematics makes you a very good data scientist. And of course, any data role needs that understanding of the business problems as well. So finally, I would like to end with the success stories for over, the professionals that I have mentored. I have been really lucky and grateful for being able to help and mentor professionals into these different roles who have gotten a job in Accenture, Amazon, and Range Rover. So with that, thank you. I know there was some technical issues that happened. I'm sorry for that. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk. You can contact me on storytellingbydata.com, or you can just scan the QR code. Thank you.
That was a great conversation. I'm a little bit sad we missed the middle of it, but I'm glad we got to hear the most of it. And I'm really glad that you were able to come back. I felt really awkward in the middle of that. So I'm curious. I got a few questions for you as people scan the QR code, hopefully. What do you, when you're talking with people who are like finding their way into data, what pathway are they most interested in, and do you have a sense for why that is?
Yeah. Many of them they kind of they just want to jump into data science, but then when I actually take a deeper look at what their skill sets are, and I identify that one of the routes that they could take is start with the data analytics part, which is much more, I would say it's an easier way to break into the data world. And with just your SQL, your visualization skills, you can just break into the data world. And then later on move into data science. And I think many of them are actually just jumping into it, thinking that I can just learn programming in probably 3 months, which is not true. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of promises made by a lot of courses that like you're going to know everything all of a sudden. But I think after 3 months, it's a big jump from a online course to a real world experience. I have another couple questions here, so we got a few more minutes to go. If you could choose, like, what is the one skill that you find yourself promoting the most to people who are kind of finding their entry into a data role?
What is the sorry? What do you say?
Like the one, let's say the one technical skill and the one interpersonal skill that you find yourself recommending the most.
Mhm. Yeah, the most important technical skill for a data analyst would be SQL, and that SQL. So a query language, that's SQL, and a visualization tool, that's either Power
Mm-hmm.
BI, whichever you choose,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, either programming language or Python. So
Mm-hmm.
that's usually that's what I recommend.
And if somebody came out of oh, sorry, and you're still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, then kind of. And what was the non technical, the more people focused skill that you would recommend?
Yes, one of the most yes important non-technical skill is definitely the communication part, the storytelling skills for a data
Mm-hmm.
analyst, being
Mm-hmm.
able to identify and tie the data, making sure like you explain it to a 5-year-old, because not on like in not everyone in the data, especially the stakeholders, all of them know data, right? So you need to be able
Mm-hmm.
to explain it to a 5-year-old. So that's those are some skills that are really important for a data
Yeah,
analyst.
I feel like the potential downfall for an analyst is to be the smartest person in the company and still have the company be no smarter because they're just not able to share their learning. So I think that is, I mean, I put it in the Slack, in the Operational Analytics Club Slack, is that this is the fifth chat of 5 chats, or fifth presentation of 5 in a row that has advocated for communications. And what it sounds like in the way that you just kind of spoke about it is like our job as data analysts is to kind of like what Matt talked about in the very first talk, is like to gather, transform, and deliver. And I think what often gets underappreciated is the full delivery of that insight, which is like explaining how the dashboard even works, what's behind it, what it means, what questions it can ask, how do you ask questions about it. Often, often under underappreciated. Hopefully she'll be back. We are in the middle of Lekhana's talk. We have 2 open poll questions that are associated with that talk. The first one is, what is the most challenging part of your job search for data? It's neck and neck between the data interview process, which is totally understandable. The second one's building an online portfolio. I guess what I would say to this is the advice from Jessica is, for the building your online data portfolio, just gotta like gut it out and do it, and be courageous and make it happen. Then of course there's corporate life, which I totally can, that resonates strongly with me coming from a background in sports. So then the second one was, which data role are you most interested in? And it's been a huge, oh, there it is. It's been a huge winner so far has been data engineering. I think people have been looking at these pay charts that get it shared on LinkedIn all the time, talking about the money you can make with data engineering. So 9 to 2, I mean, data analyst, I think really underestimated. Data analyst is pretty fun and interesting career. And really that's I think where we're gonna end with Lekhana's presentation. We will have Bobby Pinheiro. Hopefully it's Pinheiro. I got a thumbs up with that. Okay, it's Bobby Pinheiro up next, and he is going to give us a little bit of information. I'm struggling here, folks. Bear with me. He is the CEO and co-founder of Equals. The title of his talk is "Every Analyst is a Finance Analyst." I didn't believe that until now. Hopefully he can convince me. But we're going to be back in about a minute or two with Bobby Pinheiro and his talk.